Hello, friends, and welcome to your midweek edition of the Kings of Anglia podcast. It's FA Cup first round weekend, not something traditionally we've got too excited about at Ipswich Town. Indeed, the FA Cup as a whole is not something we've had much cause to get excited about at Ipswich Town in recent years. But this season, friends, we've got a proper FA Cup first round tie at Bracknell on Monday in front of the TV cameras. Mark Heath, Andy Warren, Stuart Watson here to talk all about that. And I'm very pleased to say, much as like with 2 weeks ago, we've got special guests on the show to preview this game. We've got the returning friend, I think we have to call him friend of the show now, Kayne SB, owner of Bracknell Town. We've also, I'm pleased to say, we've got the joint manager this morning, Carl Withers. So I'm going to bring both those guys in now and we can have a good chat about the game. Just bear with me. Here's Kayne and here's Carl. Boys, thanks very much for joining us. I'm going to start with you, Kayne, before we get on to Carl, if that's okay. When last we spoke, a couple of weeks ago, you were kind of getting your head around the logistics of having drawn a side like Town, being inundated with ticket requests, going through various safety audits and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So just brings us up to speed with what's happened since. How's your time been in that past 2 weeks, and where do we stand now? With Thursday morning, the game's on Monday night, so a couple of days away. How are things looking now?
So actually, now everything we've been planning for over the last 2 weeks since the draw, everything is now starting to happen. So TV, they set up last week. But from today and pretty much every day now till Monday, we've got marquees being set up. We've got the compound, the TV compound comes in tomorrow. So literally all of the planning starts to really come to life today and in the days ahead.
And you are actually, as we speak, at SB Stadium, aren't you? You're in a little box there.
That right, looking over the pitch right now.
There we go. So for those not watching on video, that was just a little insight into the pitch. It's looking beautiful, I've got to say, Kayne. But you were saying before we started rolling that you're going to have a few tractors drive over it. And
absolutely, yeah. That
bit of sand.
2 foot tall on Monday. It'll be rutted. We've got every single local team booked to play on it from now to Monday lunchtime. So we've encouraged knee sliding when they score goals. Just basically make it look that interesting. We said sadly that the footage yesterday of Ronnie Radford's goal. Where was that? That pitch then. That's how we've got to make this pitch come Monday.
You got a bit of time. And in terms of the actual attendance on the day, we said last time about 2,000 fans you're expecting, roughly about 300 Town fans. Yeah. Is that still the case for Monday?
Yeah, absolutely. We took the decision to kind of cap the sales at around 2,000. Purely just it's I think with it being televised, it being a Monday night, 2,000 seemed about right. Although I think our ground is graded to hold 3,000, we just wanted to make sure that we had we could manage it on the night. That's the most important thing, and really making sure that our hardcore fans and kind of anyone that's had an association with our club can kind of enjoy the night. So that we'll be a sellout. It'll be all ticket, and no one will be able to get in if they haven't got a ticket. I mean, we've sold a few tickets to Ipswich fans that haven't. We've been doing kind of little flash sales just to make sure that everyone that, as they hear about this game, get an opportunity. We didn't sell out day one. We kept a few back so we could drip them out over the days leading into the game.
Superb. If I can bring you in now, Carl, we had a good chat with Kayne a couple of weeks ago, and he told us all about his kind of story with the club and connection to it. Can you kick off to just telling us a little bit about you and your background and how you come to this position with Bracknell?
So I mean, I've obviously lived in the town all my life. Grew up sort of supporting it, watching the club. I was very privy to the 2001 sort of FA Cup run that we had, and knew a lot of the players back then. In terms of coming back to Bracknell, I played for Bracknell in 2016. Is that right, Kayne? Around 2016, I think it was.
17, yeah.
Both me and Jamie returned back to the club to play. We had quite a successful period of time there, playing under Mark Tallentire. And then we kind of stepped into management at a village club close to us called Binfield. And we managed there for 2-3 years, I think it was, and actually had quite a successful period. We got them to the FA Vase final at Wembley, which was quite a successful time. And we also got them promoted into the Isthmian League. So, in a short space of time, we've done, reasonably well. But, as everything, you know, sometimes you want to make that step up, you want to make that jump, and you know, we're ambitious managers, and you know, the call come from Kayne, and you know, there was no hesitations. It was a job that we both probably wanted, and just felt maybe one day it might come. I don't think we felt it would become this early, but we were pleased when the call did come, and you know, we've been welcomed with open arms with Kayne, and you know, we've really enjoyed in the 6 to 7 weeks we've been there, and you know, hopefully we're starting to sort of bed ourselves in. You know, I think the players have really bought into us, and we've been very, you know, the supporters have welcomed us, and we'll be judged on the pitch and results, and I don't think we've done too bad so far.
Well, just looking actually, I mean, you're 11th in the table, aren't you? But you've got 3 games in hand, and I think I'm right in saying you've not actually lost a game since the end of September. Is that right?
That's right. We lost our first. It was our first game. You know, obviously with, you know, 6 circumstances where we came in, we had 1 training session. So, you know, we didn't really want to change too much. We kind of just wanted to, you know, keep it as the same as it was before the previous manager. So, yeah, unfortunately that game, you know, it was a game that could have gone either way. I don't think we deserved to lose, but we did. And then, yeah, we've just started to, you know, just tweak things a little bit and try and adopt our style of management and, you know, that camaraderie with the players and how we like to work. And yeah, we've obviously gone unbeaten now, and you know, we're a little bit behind the rest because obviously the success in the FA Cup and obviously the trophy as well. So you know, hopefully we got some catching up to do, and hopefully that won't come back to bite us. But yeah, at the minute we're doing well, and we're pleased with the way it's going. We still, you know, we're still not there yet. We still got lots of work to do, but you know, touch wood, it will continue in the same vein.
Superb. Just before I hand you over to the boys to ask some proper in-depth footballing questions, talk to me. We spoke to Kayne when he was on last time about when Ipswich were pulled out of the hat and that kind of thought process of, right, we've got to host Ipswich now, former UEFA Cup champions, former FA Cup winners, former Division 1 winners. What was that like for you as a manager of the side who's got to prepare for a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a great occasion. You know, a local pub, the Admiral Cunningham, sort of hosted the event, and it was great. So many fans, and you know, a lot of the 2001 team were down there, and you know, there was a lot of anxiousness, expectations, in the hope that you weren't going to get, you know, a draw that, you know, was going to maybe take the gloss off the night. And when we got pulled out, being a home team, I think everyone was just like, yes, brilliant. And then there was that pause. And then I remember, I think the ball number 25 got called out. Someone said it's a football league club. And straight away, my mind took over me and thought, TV. And then Ipswich, I was like, fucking hell, like, I mean, wow, I think you probably could have got a bigger draw. In my belief, you know, the stature of the club, the history of the club, you know, ex-Premiership, champions of Europe, FA Cup winners. I don't think you could have got a bigger draw, really. So, yeah, it was one of...
The best thing is there, Wivs, who did they beat to win the FA Cup?
Oh, Kayne, why you done that? Like, you could have given me a heads up that I was going to get tested on my history. I mean,
well, no, listen. Who do you support with?
I'm Arsenal.
Yeah. Who's Dodd's sport?
He's Arsenal.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
okay.
Who did Ipswich beat that day?
Is that your way of telling me it was Arsenal that they beat?
Yes, Arsenal.
Enough,
as a Spurs fan, that makes me gloriously happy.
Oh, there we go. No, yeah. Listen, it was just excitement, and I think as soon as we knew it was Ipswich and we were at home, I think the excitement grew because everyone was like, "That's got to be televised." My phone just went off, as I'm sure everyone's did, and yeah, I think that was the start of this exciting 3-week period that we've had. But as managers, you kind of don't want to look too far ahead. We had you know, league games and trophy games, and we've managed to keep the lads grounded as best we can, and we've managed to sort of win all them games of football between the draw and now, and you know, we're going into the Ipswich game with lots of momentum.
I know Stu wanted to ask some questions about the team and players to watch. Stu, do you want to come in here?
Yeah, just from a football point of view, what can we expect from your team, Carl, style-wise? How do you normally play, and will you adapt for this game?
Look, I mean, with the greatest of respect, you know, you're playing against a football league side. So, you know, sort of our tactics on the night might slightly be different than when we're at home. But I think us as managers and who we are, I think we've just got to have a go, you know, and what will be on the night. If we go there and, you know, give them all that respect and try and sort of ask them to break us down, I just don't think that's going to excite the fans and give you know, the public watching a game of football that they want to see. I think, you know, it's a one-off game, and I look at it as a free hit. You know, Kayne might not let me say that, but I believe that the club has won irrespective of the result. And I think the players and us as managers, I'll just be telling them on the night to just go out there and enjoy the occasion. I know it's cliche, play the game and not the occasion, but do you know what? Play the occasion, because this probably will never happen again, and just see where it takes us. See where it takes us on the night.
Have you looked at some of the goals Ipswich have conceded in the last couple of games? Have you looked at the stoppage time from the weekend?
We were kind enough to be given tickets to go and watch that game, actually, through someone that's got connections with a lot of the Football League clubs. And sadly, we didn't make it in the end for commitments. But I certainly was watching the game, and we've certainly got, some ideas in our head where we think we could possibly exploit Ipswich, and and rightfully so. Whilst we are a non-league club that we're playing at step 3, we still believe we've got players in our side that can hurt Ipswich. So we do our homework, and we've got some ideas in our head where we think we can exploit it. And I'm not going to give too much away, but hopefully on the night that comes to fruition.
And is there something you want to ask?
How have the players handled all of this? Because this must be like the biggest night, football night, especially for their lives. They've look like they've handled it quite well. I think
they have
23 goals in 5 games since the draw.
Yeah,
they've scored. Not
too
bad.
They've been brilliant, to be fair to them. Look, I know in the back of their minds they all look into this game. They all want to play in it. They want to be a part of it, and rightfully so. I'd be the same. I was a player myself, and you would be. But first and foremost, when we've turned up for match days and we've had training, their attitude has been absolutely spot on. Probably what's helped is they all want to play a part of it. So they're all pushing each other, and they're all trying to impress me and Jamie or Dodds to kind of stake a claim and stake a start. And that's probably helped, going into the league and trophy games, because everyone's pushing everyone. Everyone wants that position or that place, that starting 11. The performances have probably justified that. So, to be fair to them, they've all been great. I mean, obviously now we said to them on Tuesday, right, now we can enjoy this week and the lead up to it. But, you've done everything we've asked of you. We've not looked past every game that we've played. And now they can kind of enjoy it and enjoy every bit that comes their way this from now till Monday and see where it takes us.
How often do you train, and have you kind of added anything extra in the lead up to this?
I mean, our fixture schedule is obviously ramped up a notch, because obviously all the FA Cup games and the trophy games, we're having to squeeze league games into midweek that where we didn't have a fixture, or having to move games because of long journey. I mean, we're supposed to be traveling to Truro on Wednesday, 2 days after the Ipswich game. Thankfully the league has seen common sense and sort of rearranged it for us, because I think mentally, physically, I think it's going to take a lot out of the players on that Monday. So, our fixture schedule between now and Christmas, I think, is Saturday, Tuesday every week, and that goes in. That I think that even slides into January, just because we're playing catch up. But that's why you have a squad, and we've got a very strong squad that we've assembled, or we were fortunate enough to walk into with, and we've brought a few in to sort of add to that. And all of them are be needed over this sort of next 3-month period.
Has everyone kind of got the day off work on Monday and everything? It's all everyone. You're not going to be turning up long days of work.
Me personally, I'll be working in the morning. I just want it to be as normal as possible, because if I'd just be like pulling my hair out, and so we want to try and make it as normal as possible. I think we've got a local hotel that has kindly been putting us up in the afternoon. So I think we'll be looking to get there sort of mid-afternoon, maybe go for a walk, have a bit of a pre-match meal, kind of get everyone together, because I'm sure if people were sat at home, they'd be like scratch, they just want to be getting amongst the lads. So we'll try and be as normal as possible. But the afternoon we'll get together, and then we'll get a coach to the ground, and then start focusing on the game.
What is the day job for you, Carl?
So my official title is a CAD BIM manager. If I could describe my job, I'm a bit like an architect. I do all the 3D drawings. So we do like football stadiums, shopping centres, all that sort of stuff. I draw all the 3D drawings. I've been doing it 20 years now. So I'm at the same company based in Ascot. It's a company that is on my doorstep. So, I've worked here for that many years and enjoyed it. And I'm a partner here now. So it's something that obviously I enjoy.
So you'll be hoping you're going to be the architect of Town's downfall on Monday. In Yeah, in terms of you mentioned the strong squad there, Carl. I don't want you to, name loads of names, but are there, for Town fans who are coming to watch, who are the players that you kind of will be leaning heavily on the night? Are there star names we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't need to. I'm sure anyone that's done their homework on Bracknell, will know certain players. We've got Jordan Esprit, who's our number 9, our striker. He's just a real thorn in the side for anyone that they play against. He's hard-working, tenacious, knows where the back of the net is. He's a proper number 9, loves a battle, loves a challenge. We've got Dan Bayliss, our captain, centre half. Mr. Reliable. A very, very good player, and another one that we're fortunate enough to have. We've got a local lad, Joe Grant, who is just come back from a 12-month layoff with an ACL injury, and we're fortunate enough to have him back with us. And he's getting stronger and stronger by the day, and he's a local lad, so he'll be one that you'll know. He's always plays with a smile on his face. He's a right old character, and we love him dearly. I could speak highly about every single player, but probably them 3, and there's probably a couple more that have been great for us. But like I said, I don't want to give too much away.
Fair enough. Kayne, just coming back to you, we joked. I think we're joking anyway about you driving tractors on the pitch. I hope we're joking. But in all seriousness, you don't, as much as you want the Town fans who are coming to have a great night and enjoy themselves, you don't want Ipswich Town players to have a great night, do you? You don't want them to be too comfortable. These are players coming from, they used to they played in the Premier League, they've played in Championship, they've been in top tier academies. But you don't want them to feel comfortable when they come to your stadium.
Listen, I don't think they will feel comfortable because this is not what they're used to. They're not used to parking a bus 200 metres away from the ground and having to walk down through the fans to get to the ground. I mean, I don't think, and I know that when your COO and I think the first team support came to visit the ground last week, I actually thought that they were quite shocked that the quality of our changing rooms, albeit not as big as you're used to, and the stadia is not as big as you're used to, they were pleasantly surprised with the quality of what we've built down there. So this is a new ground. I mean, I built this a year ago, so everything's fairly new. The changing rooms are quite nice. Again, I think that it's going to be better than what they're expecting. But nonetheless, the thing that your players won't be used to, like I said, walking 200 metres to get to the changing rooms, and then coming out of a tunnel where the fans are right on the rail. These are bits and pieces. Keepers, I know that whenever we've played, when Reading came to us in the Bucks and Bucks a couple of years ago, that the keepers aren't used to having people. That's not what they're used to. So there'll be little things like that. The playing surface, well, for us, we think our playing surface is good. For you guys, this is not going to be, it's not going to be in their top 100 of surfaces they've played on. It's, it's not. There's going to be little bits and pieces. There's things that we do really well within our ground that, it's not your typical. If they'd have come to our old ground, well, the away changing room was literally, it was a shed. It was a shed. It looked like a shed inside. It was hideous. Here, it's 5-star in comparison to that, but still not what you're used to.
You got any tricks up your sleeve, like the old John Beck tricks at Cambridge, turning off the hot water and all that kind of thing?
I know, this change room is going to be boiling hot, and we'll do our best to flood it, and we'll do the lights will be flickering. We'll do our best to make it as unpleasant. No, we're not like that. At the end of the day, we'll play with a straight bat, and we don't need to play any of them kind of games. I just think the fact that that this team are having to travel to a non-league ground, hopefully that is enough. And I said earlier, no one's expecting Bracknell Town to turn over Ipswich Town. No, nobody. But if you talked about that 1% chance, it's probably the 1% will come from the environment, this environment they're just not used to. But really, you should be coming and turning us over, and the expectation's very much on you to come and turn us over. So I think that's the expectation, and the pressure sits with Ipswich, not us. We look, at the end of the day, like Carl said and Carl's alluded to, we have to set up. There's no point us not setting up. If you're not having the mindset that you're going to win or going to compete in a game, there's no point turning up. What's the point? We might as well just give the lads a night off. So I don't think it's in Cole's or Jamie's or any of our players' DNA. Whilst they know that they're the underdogs, they've still got to come and give an account for themselves. And two of our players will probably be thinking, as you've seen, like since the draw, our performances have stepped up. And that, I think, is because players are saying, we want to be selected. And I think on the night, there's one or two of our players that quite honestly could play higher. We've recently sold a player to Dorking at step 1. And there's one or two other players that will probably want to give a performance and show that they still could potentially be a professional footballer. So hopefully, that's what's great about these games. We know where we are in the ecosystem of non-league. Our players come to us, and we're a club that we're not taking players as they come down the non-league. We very much got a squad of players that are still pressing and still want to play as high as they can. And we recognise where we are in the ecosystem of football. Some of our players hopefully will see this as an opportunity to showcase their talent. And we would never stand in the way of a player. If an offer come in step 1 and above, we'd never ever stand in anyone's way. So hopefully, we'll get some superhuman performances from one or two of our players, because it's an opportunity for them to showcase their talent.
Absolutely. One of the things we didn't really get a chance to speak about last time, and it's been reported, I think, since, is we spoke very much about you hosting the game at your stadium. I think it's been suggested that Reading offered their stadium for the game. Was that something that was ever really something that was considered or even offered?
It's not allowed. I mean, I believe, as I understand it, so we definitely couldn't switch back to Portman Road. That's completely not allowed. Mm-hmm. And we'd have had to fail a safety audit, I believe, to get it switched to another ground. Well, if we'd have failed a safety audit, well, that effectively would say we can't host games here, full stop. So that was, so it's whilst you probably could have manipulated it to fail to get it pushed to the Majewski. You know what? Like I said, if there's a 1% chance of us causing an upset, that 1% is by it being played at our ground. So taking it away from our ground, and then anyway, going to like a Majewski is great. They did offer their ground, and that would have been fantastic to go there. It'd have been half empty, and then that in itself, I don't know, it doesn't feel very special, and it would have definitely favoured you to go to the Majewski because you're used to that environment. So I think for us, staying at our home ground was really, we haven't really, although offers have come in and people have debated it, from our perspective, we haven't even, there's not been any talk about switching it. It was always going to be hosted here. And from the get-go, all we've done is focus on housing it here.
Okay. Boys, any further questions for Kayne? I don't want to monopolise all the questions.
Can I change tack a little bit, Kayne, and just confirm the German sausage and wings situation that we discussed last time you were on? Just is that all locked in and nailed down?
Yeah. We've got some great food vendors on the night. If you're lucky enough to, first and foremost, if you're lucky enough to be in where I am now, so this is our main bar. This is going to be the VIP hospitality on the night. We've got my brother, who's a Michelin star chef, doing canapes, and the canapes are football themed, so like mini burgers, mini pies, so everything's kind of football themed on our canapé front. Then you go outside into the general admission. We've got wings and tings. We've got a German sausage company. Then in our fan zone 2, we've got pizzas, I believe, and pies, gourmet pies. And then there's a second kind of VIP for family and former players and friends of the club. They've got a great kind of gourmet offer as well around there.
See, and this is why switching the game, you couldn't, because it would completely have changed the feel of this game, wouldn't it? You wouldn't have had any of that. It wouldn't have felt like a Bracknell game, would it?
It's going to be like a festival. So the people we've got, so we've gone to the Admiral Cunningham, is a pub in Bracknell, really, really good family-run business, the Levy's, and so we can focus on the football and delivering a great night. They're taking over the control of the 3 marquees that we're putting around the periphery. So the marquees will be operated by someone that is used to doing. They do festivals as well, so they know how to do large events. So we are going to run it like a festival. So the food offer, the drink offer on the night, it's going to hopefully we'll manage. There shouldn't be any queues. So you certainly don't need to eat before you come to the ground, because there's going to be some cracking offers on the night. Some really good offers.
And you've sold one-off shirt sponsor for the night, is that right,
Yeah.
Kayne?
Yeah, actually, they're just sat on the camera. They're sat behind me. I've got a meeting with them next. Yeah, so Grundon Recycling, they're a club sponsor anyway. They take the back of our shirts and shorts, and have done for a few years now. But as I said, it was my name, not my own, as in Kayne wasn't on the front of the shirt, but the SB group, my broader group, has had the shirt since I took over. And largely, I've always been on the shirt because I had a value in my mind of what the shirt was worth, and I've never been prepared to sell it for less than a number. And fortunately, on this one-off night, the number was hit, and I was prepared to take my name off the front. And you know, Grundon a big business, and they're taking the name on the night. And they do a lot of work with other clubs. I think they're with Forest Green Rovers and Oxford United. They do a lot of the work for places like Wimbledon, the Waste of Wimbledon, and Ascot Races. So they're big around, massive name, certainly around here. So they've got the front of the shirt on the night. And then actually we've got the business that's placed right next door to where Cole's working now, Ascot Designs, which is another architectural practice that does a lot of work with me on my business, my day-to-day job. They're taking the back of the shorts. And then ProDirect, who have given us the kits for the night, free of charge, are taking the back of the shirts just below the numbers. So these shirts for us is a rarity, but they're named. So each player's got a named shirt. That's not something we typically do. Usually where the player name is, we'd have our sponsor, our second sponsor, which is Grundon. But for this night, we've got a limited edition shirt for the night, and that's been supplied by ProDirect, who are typically they're our kit sponsor. They supply all of our club kits and our youth team kits, so they're our second sponsor on the night.
I saw on your website this morning you're doing some like FA Cup merchandise as well. I tried to find your online shop and it wasn't there because it's being redone.
Got a text. Let me. So just literally got a text from the guy to say, I don't know, where is the camera?
There we go.
Tops. Some of our limited edition stuff's ready. That's that, and to keep people warm on the night. Yeah. So that all comes in tomorrow. So we've got a couple of on the night. We'll have a couple of shops by entrance 1 and entrance 2. To make sure people can buy. We've got t-shirts, hats, scarves. Yeah, so
that's all great, Kayne. But if I don't see a cut-out FA Cup wrapped in tinfoil, I'll be disappointed. That's what these nights are all about.
Yeah, I'd imagine there'll be a few of them around the ground. We've got a lot of our youth players from our under 9s. Our mascots on the night are our under 12 side. So I would imagine you'll see a few cut-out FA Cups.
And we spoke last time, Kayne. You said you didn't want to segregate fans. I assume that's the case, is it? You're not going to segregate that?
Look, non-league at our level, we don't segregate fans. And to be fair, in my time at this club, in 6 years, we've had one issue, and that was the recent Banbury game. And it was only really, we're talking about probably 5 fans. The rest of the Banbury fans were absolutely superb. It's just 5 idiots on the night. And from all the interactions I've had with your fans, and managing my social media for me, my team look after my social media, and they've been back and forth in conversation with your fans, and they've all been lovely. You know, not one. We've not been given one reason to even consider segregating. Now, I love sport, I love football, and I love rugby. And when I go to a rugby event, I could be sat behind a New Zealand fan, beside a South African fan, in front of an Australian fan, right? And that kind of environment where you've got all different teams and nationalities all sat mixing is something that I've loved. And for me, it's kind of why I like non-league, because that kind of exists in non-league. You mix and you meet people from the opposition. And segregation, and certainly with your fans are not fans that need to be segregated and penned up the top. We want to create a carnival atmosphere, a festival for the night, and segregating is, again, I resisted it. So we've had to have several calls with the major events team, like the police and all the local authorities, and everyone's categorised. Fortunately, the police that are in communication with your police force, that follow your fans around the country when you travel, they've all categorised it as absolute, like, low risk to no risk. Kind of, it sits on the no risk, and our fans definitely aren't. The most raucous of fan we've got is a guy called Fish that will absolutely do your keeper's head in from the minute he gets in goal to the minute he walks off to the last minute of the game. Your keeper will act. You'll know who Fish is by the 93rd minute, and that is as I suppose as you can only say. He's just annoying. He annoys in a nice way. And it will just be goalie, keeper, goalie, keeper, goalie, keeper for 95 minutes of the game. Fish is as probably as annoying as a fan can get, but there's no violence in any of our fans, and so there's no segregation. Nah, not gonna
Lads,
do that.
we need to get our photographer to find Fish, don't we? That's number one task for the
You'll
night.
know exactly who he is. You'll know exactly.
Who he is.
we need to get Fish with Ross, don't we, boys, on the game day video? Maybe pre or post match.
He loves all sort of publicity. He loves publicity.
Yeah.
Find Fish.
Well, he'll be emotional on the night. This is a big night for Fish. He will be. He's trying to hold it together. I saw him at the game on Tuesday night. He was getting emotional about this game. Yeah, so, that's it. That's the spirit of this, right? So you've got this big 40-odd-year-old guy, massive, and this game and the magnitude of this game is bringing a tear to his eye, and that's the kind of the spirit that goes with or comes with this game, I suppose.
100%. Boys, I know you said you've only got half an hour or so I'll start to wrap it up now. Chaps, have you got any other questions for either Carl or Kayne? I've got one I want to finish on.
Not really a question. I was just going to say I would wish you well on the night, but not too well, because I've covered Ipswich Town, I think, for 11, 12 years now, and I think they've won 2 FA Cup games in that time. It's been a bit of a miserable competition.
Has it really?
For
I didn't know that.
Town.
That's a good one.
I probably shouldn't be giving you that intel, but
how many you won on TV?
TV's not great either. I mean, they
TV's
they did win one on TV recently against Derby.
I'm going over my team talk right now. Actually, I'm going over my team talk right now.
Ipswich fans are going to be screaming at me for giving you this info, but TV and the FA Cup have not been.
Just show them the Barrow game from last season. Just show your lads Ipswich Town at Barrow in the FA Cup last season. If you need a bit.
You boys you need to be focusing on the league. You're a Premier League club. You need to be back in the Championship. You don't need to be worrying about the FA Cup. It's all focus for you.
The distraction.
Why bring great players down here and to get injured? Too big a risk. Too big a risk.
Carl, I don't know if you know, but the last time Ipswich Town played a non-league side in the FA Cup, it was on TV and they got dumped out by Lincoln City in front of the nation on the BBC back in 2017. I think that wasn't it, boys? When they were in this championship. Anything else from you, Andy?
All good. Just Wings and Ting. That's all that's on my mind.
You got to get in. Speak to Ollie at Wings and Ting. Say that Kayne sent you, and he'll look after you.
Good man.
Superb. You touched on it there, Carl. The team talk. I know you don't want to give too much away, but can you give us a little insight into what you might be saying to the players before they run out that dressing room door to play Ipswich Town on TV?
Anything more away. We've already given away far too much.
Yeah, I mean, look, like any manager would, it's all about going out there and playing the occasion. It's going to be a special night for the players, for the fans, for Kayne and his family and myself and Dodds. So we're just going to go out, enjoy the night, and just see where it takes us on the night.
Okay, and then last time I finished with a question about win or replay to Kayne, and he said win all day long, which is great, absolutely. I just wanted to ask you both the same question to end on. I'll start with you, Carl. We're sitting here Tuesday morning having a chat. What does success look like for Bracknell in this game? Clearly, success is winning the game and pulling off the greatest upset in FA Cup history. But what would you be happy with Tuesday morning?
I want the players to come away without any regret. I want, people to be talking about Bracknell Town. I want people to be talking about their experience of coming to our ground. And, I hope that people will want to return and come back and support us on our league campaign. And, for me and Dodds, obviously, look, I'd be crazy if I said I didn't want to win the game of football. But I think the biggest thing for me is that, to come away without any regrets. And, it kind of has put Bracknell back on the map where they belong. And I hope we can kind of build from this and go into our league campaign and, get ourselves back up the ladder and get us up the football pyramid.
How about for you, Kayne, then? What does success look like for you Tuesday morning? What are you happy with?
I kind of echo what Carl says there a little bit. I think that people enjoy the night. that wouldn't typically come out. So we've got lots of families come in that typically wouldn't come out and watch us. So that's number one, that they enjoy it, and number two, that they come back. Look, I've little expectation. I mean, I'm not going to be foolish enough. For us, being in the first round is a massive achievement. We've done this. We've been in this cup over 50. We've entered it over 50 years, and it's only the second time we got to this level. So that in itself is a massive, massive, massive achievement. The fact that we're televised is another big win. So really, look, I've got zero expectations on the 90 minutes of football. I'm with Carl. We never set up in life. We don't get up in the morning to go and lose in whatever we're doing. So, and I know that's not in our players' DNA and our manager's DNA. So, look, I echo what he says. We want to give a good account of ourselves. That's the primary objective. But more importantly, everyone enjoys the night.
Superb. Gents, thanks so much for your time. I know clearly you're both very, very busy indeed as you build up to this game. I think Bracknell have made quite a lot of new fans actually through this game and the chats we've had. And just best of luck on the night. Whatever happens, I hope it's a great game. And I'm sure it will be. Thanks so much for your time.
No, I appreciate it.
I'm sure the boys will speak to you on the night. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah, look forward to meeting you, Andy. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
There we go then, boys. That was good, wasn't it? A little insight from the manager as well. Nice to have that. What do you make of all that?
Is it bad that I wouldn't begrudge them a win?
Yeah.
Obviously, what we want Ipswich to win and go further in the cup. But if they're going to go out, may as well go out to those lovely guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want them to win. Move on from that.
Stu, what did you take away from that?
Yeah, it's hard. It's not hard not to feel some warmth towards them as people and as a football club. Kayne's been on twice now. We've now had Carl on. It's and I'm just looking forward to it as an occasion. Everything that they've kind of described, it feels like this is what the FA Cup's all about. If Ipswich are going to be entering this competition at the first round stage, which none of us really want, still feel a bit uncomfortable with, at least let it be a tie like this and feel like it's a proper part of the FA Cup. Give me that rather than another all League One clash at this stage. I don't think that would have got any of us excited, would it? So, yeah, let's see. I still want Ipswich to win, though. Take all that away. I've had enough upset and embarrassment and disappointment in this competition over the years. And I'll be honest, I did say this a few weeks ago. I think this is... Kayne in there talked about the 1% chance, and I think you need the absolute perfect storm for the underdog or to win in this sort of situation. And I think part of that perfect storm is for the so-called bigger club to be in a bit of a pickle at the time. And I think Ipswich are in a decent place at the moment. There's no kind of, we're not at they've signed 19 players and they're all still bedding in and the manager's under pressure. If they'd have gone into it like this time last year, you might have had a few doubts, and that's how these games can sort of come about. But might be famous last words, but I think Ipswich will hopefully negotiate this relatively comfortably, but Bracknell will come out with it heads held high. The night will all go ahead quite nicely, and in a way, everyone's a winner there, I suppose.
I should have asked about Wi-Fi, shouldn't I, boys? That was a really important question for us.
And parking.
Yeah. Andy, how do you think Town will approach this game? I mean, in terms of the team they're going to put on the pitch, because as Stewie says, Ipswich Town should win this game, really, whoever goes out on the pitch. But how do you think McKenna will approach it in terms of team selection?
I don't know how he'll approach it. I'm really interested to find out. I think I know what I would do. I wouldn't be going down the 11 change route. I wouldn't be going down that kind of the Papa John's route with this. I would have a good littering of proper senior players that play every week in there. I think there are some changes that you'll have to see, like Hladky. I think you have to let Hladky play this game in goal. But Richard Keogh, I imagine, will start. That's a really good player to be able to turn to in this kind of moment. He won't let any nonsense go by. But then I think Cameron Burgess as well. If they think he's fit to play, we're talking about long balls into the box there, weren't we? I think when they say they've got a few ideas of how they can hurt Ipswich, I think at the moment the answer to that is put some long balls into the box. And if Cameron Burgess's face is up for this, at this point, you play him. But I'd also be considering people like Morsey. I would, I'd just to limit any outside risk factors here. Just to, if the worst happens, you then you've got the personnel in there to calm things down, put a foot on the ball, and make sure it doesn't turn into a disaster. I think Ipswich will win, and I think they'll win comfortably. But to make sure that happens in the easiest way, I'd be going fairly strong with a.
There are
with
some
a few
obvious
tinkers.
Obvious people I think that you want to give a little bit of a rest to at this stage. I think you're in danger of running Leif Davis into the ground. If you're not careful, obviously with Greg Lee being sideline, maybe Kane Vincent-Young might have to play at left back. I think Donasian, Burns, people like that, you know, probably need a little bit of a dip out. But Andy's right. There's no reason why someone like Sam Morsey, Connor Chaplin, Ladapo up front. I think it will be certainly the spine of the team. It'll be a proper first team. Maybe an Agbaje at right back who did really well in the trophy recently. But I think you'd probably be maybe Humphreys and Agbaje, something like that would be about as junior as it will get, and it will be a proper first team. And even if it is several changes, you're talking about Harness and Edwards and Dominic Ball and players like that. It's still a proper first team, isn't it?
You've got 5 subs now as well. You can change this. I assume you've got 5 subs. Have you in the FA Cup? I'll be honest, I've not checked. I've not checked that at this point. Assuming you have, you'd like to think Ipswich can get this kind of sewn up, and then you take Morsey off. You make your changes there, but I can see this game kind of going similarly to Colchester's trip to Sudbury last season. Sorry, where Sudbury really gave as good as they got at the start of the game, but ultimately Colchester were really comfortable in that game in the end. And that's how I imagine this one would go. But I'd play a strong team just to make sure that's the case.
I wonder if Carl will get up against an Arsenal player in Tyrese John-Jules. I wonder if he'll be on the pitch. Be interesting. It's definitely going to be a physical game. You'd expect Bracknell to come flying out of the traps, wouldn't you, and make it really unpleasant for the first 10 minutes or so. I don't know how easy it is for you to predict a game like this. Clearly, we all think Town are going to win. What would be a decent scoreline, would you say, boys? Because obviously they played Needham in pre-season. They won 7-0, and that's a side at the same level as Bracknell. What kind of scoreline would you be expecting a game like this?
Is this the official prediction section?
Yeah, give us an official prediction.
4-0.
4-0 will be solid. How about you, Stu?
To Bracknell.
Wow.
No, 4-0 Ipswich.
I think same as what Andy said, and we saw this in the Needham game actually, that you mentioned that once a second goal goes in sort of later on, then there's the potential for the floodgates to open, because the Bracknell players would have put so much into this emotionally in the build-up. Physically, they might be spent. Naturally, Ipswich are going to be a fitter side, being a proper full-time outfit. And I think that's quite often in the pattern of these games is you'll get sort of a 70 minutes of them really. I hope that the Bracknell players, as Carl said, put everything into it, have no regrets, give it a good go, at least in a competitive game up until a decent point. But then I think Ipswich might get a flurry of late goals and ultimately win pretty comfortably. Don't make me put a number on it.
Fair enough, I won't.
How does he get away without doing that?
You know what?
We always have to put a number on it.
Go on, give us a number then, Stu.
I'll say I'm going to give Bracknell a goal.
I'd love it if
feeling generous.
I really want them to score. Yeah.
5-1 Ipswich.
Nice. Andy, we've not really done £1 million picks for a little while because you've been off and various things. Does this game qualify for £1 million pick? Are you thinking of one?
Yeah, and it involves fish.
Okay, I like it.
I'm looking forward to fish.
Yeah.
Fish is already going to be the highlight of the night, but I think that fish, and again, this is another intangible one, which I think you'll need to kind of the fish panel, the fish Fish Club. We'll have to adjudicate on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I think Fish might play a part in the game.
Okay.
I think we might come away from this thinking that Fish has had an impact on what's happened on the pitch.
Is he going to get in Hlagke's head?
I think he might. I think we're going to come away from this game. Everybody will know who Fish is, and everybody will know what Fish
stands
Fish
for.
has done. He's going to. I think he's going to have had an impact on the game itself.
How do we quantify this? This is very
well. That's why we need the panel, isn't it? That's why we need the whiff
the
of
fillet.
fish panel. Yeah,
The fillets.
Okay, I'll give you 25-1 on that because I'm not really sure what that means. I mean,
Will fight. It doesn't mean anything, does it? Let's be honest. It's I'll put a tenner on it.
okay, there we go. Right then, boys, let's draw a line under that and talk about something which is almost as exciting, if not more, and it will only excite 2/3 of this esteemed panel because it's to do with American sports. So, Stuart, you can go make yourself a cuppa if you wish. Last week, Hutchie, you and I got very excited when news broke that Ipswich Town, he's left. Stu's actually left. Unbelievable. Ipswich Town have signed a partnership to work with genuinely one of the greatest athletes that has ever walked on this planet, Tom Brady, multiple-time Super Bowl winner, legendary figure of American football, gridiron, that Stu is so fond of. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because when I saw the news, A, I thought it was some sort of wind-up, and B, I immediately WhatsApped you and said, unbelievable. And we both got quite excited about it. And we're trying to speak to Tom. Hopefully we'll get Tom on the podcast. Talk about it. Talk about it, Hutchie.
I'd rather have Fish on the podcast, but Tom Brady will do it. Yeah, I've made some early inquiries to get Tom on KOA. He's got a lot going on at the moment. But yeah, Ipswich have the first British English football club to align themselves officially with a company owned by Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and previously New England Patriots quarterback TB12, which is basically Tom's lifestyle, which has kind of got him to still be playing quarterback in the NFL at 45, is kind of been turned into a fitness movement essentially. And Ipswich have signed up to work with them. They've been doing it since the summer, working with body coaches from there on sort of prehab stuff, they call it, to ward off injuries and recovery after games. So lots of pliability, I think, going on there, work on muscles, things like that. And it's really interesting because his kind of method of looking after himself has clearly worked for him. He's still playing elite sport. Last season in particular, at an incredible level at the age of 44, as he was last season, 45 now. Really interested to see how that applies over to football because, he's kind of splits opinion. His approach. It's not kind of universally loved. It's had its critics, but if you look at what it's done for someone like Tom Brady, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to overstate just how unusual it is for someone to still be playing at the top level of that sport, especially in that position. Occasionally you get kickers who go on forever because that's not a particularly dangerous position, but quarterback, where you essentially get run over by a Mack truck 3 or 4 times a game and are at your most vulnerable when you're doing your job. For one to still be playing at a high level at the age of 45, as Brady is now, is remarkable. What can you give a little brief overview of the TB12 approach? There's a lot of stretching and stuff involved, isn't there? And special dietary stuff.
Yeah, it's all of that stuff kind of all mixed together. But I think in general, it's kind of, and Ipswich aren't. I don't think Ipswich are kind of doing all of this. This is that they're doing selected parts of it, which is related to the stretching, prehab rather than rehab. So it's working to kind of limit injuries before they happen. So preparing the body for that with stretching, recovery after games. I think that's what Ipswich are taking from it. But in terms of the rest of TB12, it's a lot of it's dietary. It's very vegan diet. I think he whenever anyone talks about this, it's very widely kind of said that he makes his own. I think it's avocado ice cream that he makes a lot of and eats. That's the big thing that people pull away from it. And very, very focused on sleep as well. He's very, very rigid in his sleep, in bed at 9 o'clock every night in a room that's set very strictly to 18 degrees centigrade, wearing special pajamas that he's had specially made to kind of oxygenate the blood and get everything flowing around the body like it should. So that's TB12, but it's not very weight. It's not weight. He's not a guy that does the weights. If you look at Tom Brady, he's never been a weights guy. It's all about pliability and muscle health, essentially. To keep his throat up.
We saw Mick Mills before the game at the weekend. He was on comms with BBC Suffolk. He was asking a few questions about this. He said maybe he might be able to get back out on the pitch if he takes on all the avocado ice cream and a few stretches and things like that. He thinks he might be able to do a job still.
Do you reckon Mick McCarthy would embrace the TB12 method, Stewie?
Probably, yeah. I know what you're saying, sort of, old school managers and stuff. But I think that Mick would be open minded to stuff like that.
He'd like the ice cream, wouldn't he? He likes the finer things in life as well. Yeah. So maybe the avocado ice cream might tick his box.
Avocado, boys, massively overrated. Thoughts? Smashed avocado, not for me.
It's all right. It had its boom, didn't it? Things like chorizo it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it just gets too excited. Halloumi's good, but then everyone is just halloumi this, halloumi that, avocado this, avocado that. Just take it easy.
Gets a bit arrogant.
It does up itself, carried away. Just like stay steady. Stay strong and you'll stand the test of time, like the baked bean. You never see the baked bean getting like, oh, look at me, I'm doing you a fancy breakfast. It's just like, no, I'll go on the side of a breakfast, and it stood the test of time. So,
100% right. Baked beans will never let you down, ever.
Always
baked
said
beans
that.
on toast is one of the best meals you can have. Full stop. And it's because they're so overlooked. I think they're not flashy, they're not mouthy, but they're there when you need them. Baked beans.
Yeah,
long life.
We'll live in a tin, and that's fine.
Exactly. That's the message.
You're not seeing an avocado in a tin, are you? It's like, oh, how firm am I? Test me. No, tell me. Be honest about yourself before I cut you open. Just what condition you're in.
Yeah,
and that's all I want.
Avocado, not for me. Boys, we talk about Town working with an exciting new partnership. One of the things I hate most, I've got to say, in everything in life, is when people get a modicum of success. Say a small football podcast gets relatively popular, and they sell out straight away. They do ridiculous things like wearing sponsored clothing. It's a nice hoodie you got on there, Stu. And you actually, yeah. What is that? Is that?
I made sure I kept mine in shot throughout the important part of this podcast, which I noticed you two didn't, but there you go.
Yes, friends, if you're not watching, you are just listening. We have a new sponsor, which we're quite excited about. So clearly we already have Manscaped. Use code KOA at manscaped.com for 20% off and free delivery. We now have Ginger Pickle, who are a marketing agency, which we're very excited to team up with. There we go, just flashing up the logo there. So essentially, Ginger Pickle, as I say, they're a marketing agency, friends, which if you're like me or Mike Bacon, or we're getting background changes and everything now, this is very flash, you'll probably be scratching your head. But they're run by one of our friends, Big Tony Southgate, Norfolk based, but very much an Ipswich Town fan. Actually, he was a KOA doorman at the very first KOA Live, wasn't he, boys? So in terms of the services he offers, if you're having problems with people as well, I'm not sure if you can get involved in that as well, a little elimination. But anyway, what he actually does professionally is marketing. So he says we offer SEO, which is search engine optimization, boys, Google Ads, social media marketing, and training. Essentially, as I understand it, if you want to market something, increase your visibility, is that your cat behind you? It's just appeared, Hutchie.
It's when you started talking about SEO. It's woken him up. It's got him up. He's bang up for some Ginger Pickle.
So essentially, Tony can help you with all that. He says they're the GOAT of marketing, which I quite like, because we've just been talking about one GOAT. So from one GOAT to another, boys, talk to me about this.
Do you know what I like about this Ginger Pickle? I had a little look at Tony's Ginger Pickle website, and I find a lot of these sort of marketing websites, they just try and blind you with silly long words that don't really mean anything. And they've gone a bit avocado. They go a bit arrogant. They lose what they're about. Ginger Pickle, you go on there. It does what it says on the tin. You need a little bit of help with your marketing. We'll sort you out. We know what we're doing. So have a little look at that. Sounds like it's going very well.
So they're the baked bean of the digital marketing world.
Right colour as well.
That's what it says on the tin, and what is in the tin won't let you down.
Actually, talk to me about digital marketing, SEO, Google Ads. You're all over that, aren't you?
Yep, massively all over it. I know what SEO is. That's how we get people to find our news stories. Very good, very important, very important. What else can I tell you about digital marketing? Not an awful lot, I'll be honest. Go to the Ginger Pickle.
Yeah, I think the key thing to stress here is that Tony is something of a savant, a maven when it comes to digital marketing. So if you do genuinely want to get involved in someone who's going to help you increase your profile and market your stuff, Tony is the way to go through Ginger Pickle. And also, boys, very excitingly, apart from our new hoodies, which are, I'd have to say, excellent quality, and I'm a big fan of them. Tony's going to... That was, again, if you're not watching, that was the noise of Andy Warren kissing the badge, literally. I just hate it when people sell out, boys. I don't know about you. Tony's also launching a competition with us. He's going to provide a pair of tickets to an Ipswich Town game, which is Fleetwood on December the 2nd at home. So the way to... Oh, it's 2 pairs of tickets, actually. I'm just reading. 2
Friday night.
4 tickets total, boys. And the way you can win essentially is by sharing stuff. We'll tweet it out there later on, but essentially you can enter through Twitter and Instagram. You have to share the post and follow Ginger Pickle, follow KOA and all that kind of stuff. But there we go. That's the way to launch our sponsorship by giving away some free tickets to a game, which is great. So Ginger Pickle, friends, the GOAT of digital marketing. Just remember that. And no doubt we'll be mentioning them as we go forward because we're now contractually obliged. Friends, we're reaching the end of the show. We're coming up to an hour now. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I've been off for 3 days, so I'm totally out of the loop in terms of town things. Anything else to mention, boys? There's a shirt behind Andy Warren's right shoulder that I very much want to play guess the shirt before we finish. But what else is there to discuss?
Not a lot, really. I think we had a bit of a group therapy session in your absence to park the Charlton drama. Hopefully everyone's just starting to simmer down a little bit after last weekend. I think Monday night is a really good opportunity to kind of properly get that out of all our systems and move on. And it's going to be a really interesting month for Ipswich, isn't it? I think we could end up with more cup games than we will do league games. 2 league games in the November schedule. There's going to be obviously definitely 1 FA Cup game, 1 Papa John's Trophy game, of which we're still waiting for the draw. I contacted the EFL press office yesterday and they said it will be a draw, it will be on TV, we'll let you know. We're not sure when. Next week sometime, so we'll find out a bit more about who Ipswich are going to face at the end of the month in that. So yeah, it's a little bit of a break from sort of all the pressure of 3 points every week and all of that. It's looking forward to it. Should be an interesting month.
And playing alongside a World Cup, that's going to be weird. England playing
World Cup starts this month. It doesn't feel like that, does it?
No. I'll go on the record now, boys, as saying I've got absolutely no interest in the World Cup at all. I think the whole thing is ridiculous and disgraceful. So
yeah,
that's my stance on it.
I think a lot of people would echo that. It's not there's not the hype about it, is there? It's not. It doesn't feel like a World Cup.
The only interest I have is if Webb Burns is going to be there, essentially, which we're going to find out in short order, aren't we, Hutchie? I think you wrote something about this week.
Next week you'll find out about that, and it genuinely does sound kind of 50-50 for him. So it's we'll find out about that. But it's an odd one, isn't it? I'm not sure. It would have to go a very long way on the pitch, I think, to go down as any kind of sort of marker in history in terms of World Cups. That's a hell of a lot is going to have to be done on the pitch to secure any kind of legacy for it.
not for me.
Give me the Papa John's, mate, every day.
Well, I was just thinking, the EFL Trophy. Maybe what they could do is do like a Royal Rumble style draw. So you get all the teams together in one place, and then one team trots out on the pitch, and then the music hits for another team, and then they play straight away on that pitch, and you've got games going on all over the place. What do you think of that?
For the Papa John's?
Yeah. So
talk me through that again. You completely lost me. So is it a draw or is it the actual games?
So the Royal Rumble,
Yes.
the wrestling, sports entertainment. You know who the first athlete is going to be.
Yeah.
So they trot out to the pitch. So say number one is who's a team that's left in the EFL Trophy?
Gillingham.
So Gillingham are the number one.
They might have gone out last night. Actually, that was let's just say Gillingham. We'll go with it.
Yeah. So they're the number one seed. They don't know who they're playing until there's a big screen up in this complex. That probably have to be St George's Park, I reckon.
Right.
Big screen. Number two comes up. Then some music plays, and their opponents, who've only just found out they are the opponents, trot out onto the pitch and they play. There's two ways you can do it. You can either do winner stays on Royal Rumble style, or you could just have multiple games going on at the same time. So for Gillingham, if you're number one seed and it is winner stays on, you've got.
So if you score, the other team is immediately eliminated.
However you want to do it,
or is there multiple teams on the pitch at the same time? Are we getting up to like suddenly there's 33 players on the pitch?
I haven't
44.
really, haven't really thought about this.
No, fine.
Well, I'm thinking, it'd have to be multiple pitches, I guess. But I'm just thinking that'd be the way of making it entertaining. No one knows who they're playing.
It's already entertaining. It's already It's already the world's greatest knockout competition. So.
Well, talking about the world's greatest knockout competition, is there any more Milka Cup scores to bring us? It is a Thursday.
All the games are tonight, mate. So
okay.
There's actually been 2 rounds of games this week. So
wow.
actually, this time next week, we might be having the group stage draw. So
is that when Town come in?
That is when Town come in.
Seeded.
Yeah.
Excellent. That reminds me, I haven't shared the classifieds from the last round of the Milka Cup. I must do that. Friends, let's finish with a bit of fun, shall we? In fact, the whole pod has been fun today. I hope you agree. But let's add more fun now by guessing the shirt over Andy Warren's right-hand shoulder. It's very, very colourful. It looks like a kind of... So it's blue with a white neck, for those of you not watching. And it's essentially like a rainbow-esque.
Yes, it's a full rainbow that goes across the centre of the chest. The kit
What's
manufacturer is... Who's that?
Area.
Araya.
And then is that a dolphin, Hutchie, playing football?
Yeah.
Wow. This looks like something out of Hunter S. Thompson sort of...
A white dolphin leaping out of some water, hitting a football with its nose with a rainbow above its head.
By Luigi. I mean,
this is on the back.
This is a genuine football shirt, though.
This is really abstract shirt design. Maybe, yeah. I have and the badge is a dolphin.
Badge. Nautical.
Stewie, I've got absolutely no idea.
Got to be coastal.
Is it American? Is it American? It looks American.
No.
I've got zero idea. I don't know about you, Stu.
It's Italian.
No. Italian.
Yeah.
The mighty dolphins of what?
Pescara Calcio.
Pescara. And that's a real shirt they wore in actual games.
Yep. Designed by a young fan during COVID.
Ah, okay. There's a
worn,
narrative.
Ultimately, then worn.
I'm not sure what to make of that, Stu. I'm
not sure what to make of it either. It's not for me. I don't really like novelty football shirts, but
it reminds me of something.
Not for me, but I bought it anyway.
I've come to possess it. Would be the phrase in there.
Oh, it just appeared in your house, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
No financial transaction was made.
Does Mrs. Warren ever walk into this room and go, "What the hell is that? Why have you bought that?"
Yeah. Of course she does.
And what do you say? Because you just said you don't even like the shirt.
I'll probably sell it at some point.
Oh, okay.
It's they just come in, they go out. I acquire them, I sell them. There's another one on the back of the door. It's a new one as well. Have that another day.
That's tiny.
It's
that is absolutely tiny.
It's just a long way away.
Is it a large boys? It looks like that shirt reminds me of something that might have been worn in the short tenured US Football League. You know, in the mid 80s where they had George Best
Yeah.
and Pele and all those playing in Gaudi outfits. That's what it reminds me of. Friends, we're coming up to an hour, 4 minutes. You boys are off to Bracknell Town on this coming Monday. You looking forward to it?
Yeah. Crucially, we must not drive to Bracknell though, Stu, because that is not where the ground is.
First test.
Yeah.
Stewie,
Last time I went to Bracknell, I went to a ski slope. Ski slope there. Used to covered ice hockey there, and there's in a building called the John Nike Leisure Centre.
Nice.
Isn't that from Ali
G?
G?
Yeah, they stole. It was a genuine place in Bracknell. They stole the.
I just assumed that was in Slough.
What were you covering at the ski slope?
Sorry.
Ice hockey, but it
at
was
the
all
ski slope.
It's all kind of part of the similar,
okay, it's the centre,
similar complex. But yeah, the John Nike Leisure Centre in Bracknell. I think it might have closed down because the Bracknell Bees. Oh, it's been demolished earlier this year.
Oh,
that's a shame.
Bracknell's John Nike Leisure Centre being demolished 2 years after its closure. So it closed down in 20. That is sad.
This is a real sad note on which to end.
That's really sad.
Well, just to pep you up a little bit, mini burgers.
Yeah.
Wings and ting.
Football themed.
German sausage.
Don't fill yourself up on wings and ting because we've got all those little. We've got
Michelin
Michelin star food.
Are you in corporate, boys? Are you in corporate? The prawn sandwich lot.
I reckon Kayne will let us in now. Friend of the show and all that.
Just do that. It's Watson, isn't it? Access all areas. This face.
I want to be out where the people are with the German sausage and the wing and ting.
Can we genuinely have some sort of German sausage wing and ting review from Benson's Barking, but from you boys would be great.
Yes, we can do that.
I'll just unmute now to try and get the intro in before the exit, before Benson starts barking again. It panics me when he does, boys, because I know it's bad on the audio. Anyway, thank you for joining us today. We've covered a lot of ground. I hope you enjoyed our chat with Carl and Kayne SB from Bracknell Town. If you're going to the game, not many of you are, enjoy it. Benson's really annoying me. Sorry, friends. Enjoy it. The boys will be there. Follow it all with us. Obviously, there's no game this weekend. And remember, use the code KOA, manscaped.com for 20% off and free delivery. And also, Ginger Pickle is where you want your marketing needs to be taken care of. Thank you, Hutchie. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. And we shall speak to you again after the FA Cup first round next week.